So I've just explained what happens in the DNA phase for the blue player. So now let's look at what happens in the second phase, the country phase. In the country phase, a player chooses a country card and then may either place it or discard it. So what does that actually mean? The country cards are here on the card mat, and the player can either choose the one of the face down country cards, or take one of the 3 face up country cards. And when a player has chosen a country card, they then have to decide what they want to do. If they place it on the world board, it goes in the correct continent zone, and it then stays there to be infected by other players in the future. However, if they choose to discard it from the game, then it is removed and it never comes back into the game again. The reasons for why you might want to discard a country card are either to stop another player from getting access to that country, or, more importantly, discarding a country card is the only way to get new trait cards in your hand. We'll talk more about what trait cards are in the next phase, but effectively, if you don't like your trait cards and you want to get some new ones, or you've run out of trait cards, then the only way is discard a country card, and at the same time that means you must also discard your hand of trait cards and draw 5 new trait cards from the top of the deck. So it can be very useful if you don't like your trait cards to discard a country card, but if you like your trait cards, then you definitely don't want to discard a country card. One other important thing to note is that there are only a set number of spaces in a continent zone. So Asia has 5, Oceania has 3. So if you were to draw a country card, but it couldn't fit because there were already country cards here, then you would be forced to discard it, and so you would also be forced to discard your trait cards. Now, in this instance, blue, the player whose turn it is already in Asia with South Korea, and here we've got China, and so I'm going to take China and place it down, because at the start of the game it can be very powerful to have other countries in the same continent as your disease. Then we need to replace the face-up card with the next card in the country deck, so that there are always 3 cards visible, and we can just see Peru's now potentially available in the future. So now we've jumped ahead a few turns, and it's yellow's turn again. Yellow needs to decide whether it wants to place one of these country cards or discard it. This time, yellow doesn't like the trait cards that it has in its hand at the moment, and it wants to get new trait cards. So it's going to choose a country card, Indonesia, and discard it from the game. It then also, it has 3 trait cards in its hand, it discards all of those trait cards and draws 5 new trait cards. No matter how many cards you discarded, you always take 5 new trait cards. We also still need to replace the country card with a new country for the next player. And that's the end of the country phase.